Hey guys, this is a letter I got from the VA the other day about veterans who have been exposed to toxins, and most importantly, it covers the recent Iraq-Afghanistan veterans that were exposed to burn pits while overseas. But this letter details the recent act passed by Congress that actually expands it to more than just the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. So a lot of good stuff here. So I kind of want to read this, and don't think it just applies to Iraq, Afghanistan. Actually, a lot of veterans are included in this. So let's try to read this together and see if maybe you might be eligible for something. All right, so I got this letter a couple weeks ago from the VA. You may qualify for disability benefits. Okay, that's interesting. During a recent VA healthcare appointment, blah, 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 you reported that you have experienced one or more exposures to herbicides, radiation, and or toxins during your time in service. Yeah, I did report to the VA that I was at a FOB that was categorized as one of the FOBs that had burn pits. A little too close to the fob, and a lot of the smoke was blowing over the T-walls. Okay, so based on your exposure, you may be eligible for disability benefits due to a recent legislative change. Okay, so that's interesting. So what is happening? On August 10th, 2022, President Biden signed the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson Honoring Our Promises to Address Comprehensive Toxins Act of 2022, also known as the PACT Act, into law. This legislation brought about the following changes. It expands the list of locations, timeframes, and presumptive conditions related to herbicide exposures. That's good. I think that applies primarily to the Vietnam veterans and also Vietnam-era veterans that served on ships off the coast of Vietnam. A lot of the Agent Orange would get dumped onto the jungle, and it would wash out into the streams. The streams would take the toxins out to the ocean, and the water would be desalinated by the Navy ships for drinking, but Agent Orange is a triphosphate. You can't separate it from the water using a desalinization process. So unfortunately, a lot of Navy veterans were exposed to Agent Orange. And under the Blue Water Act, it was this eligibility was recently expanded to them too. So a lot of this. It sounds like this new act also incorporates parts of the Blue Water Act, which is really cool. So anyways, it expands the list of locations, timeframes, and presumptive conditions related to herbicide exposure. So that's good. Removes the manifestation period and its compensable level requirement for certain disabilities occurring in Persian Gulf War periods or Gulf War veterans. So that's good for, like people like me, because the Iraq, everything with Iraq, that's categorized as part of the Gulf War. All right, expands locations for Persian Gulf War veterans. Okay, expands the list of presumptive conditions and time frames for certain diseases associated with burn pits and toxic exposures. Okay, expands the list of risk activities for radiation exposures, because I know some we're going to go later into this letter, but there were some veterans who were charged with the duty of cleaning up radioactive locations, so they're also protected, which is really cool. Okay, so the next part of this letter says, if you have already filed a disability compensation claim based on the PACT Act, please disregard this letter. Okay, moving on. How this may affect veterans exposed to herbicides. Okay, so if you were previously denied disability compensation benefits, you may now be eligible and are encouraged to apply if you performed covered service in the following locations during the specified time frame. So if you served in Thailand, at the United States or Royal Thai base during the period beginning January 9th, 1962 and ending June 30th, 1976, regardless of where you were where you were located or military job specialty you performed. So if you were there, you get the presumption. You don't have to prove you were actually exposed to the toxins. Just the fact that you were there is the proof. So that's good. They get the presumption. All right, Laos. If you served in Laos during the period beginning December 1st, 1965, and the ending September 30th, 1969. Okay. If you served in Cambodia at Memot or Krek, Kampong Cham province during the period beginning April 16th, 1969, and ending April 30th, 1969. So that's a very short window. Guam or American Samoa or in the territorial waters thereof during the period beginning January 9th, 1962, and ending July 30th, 1980. So that's probably a large group of veterans right there. That's good. If you served in Johnston Atoll or on a ship that called at Johnston Atoll during the period beginning January 1st, 1972 and ending September 30th, 1977. So that's a lot of good news for Navy veterans. Additionally, 2 new presumptive conditions associated with herbicide exposure have been added. That's the monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance and hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. So I think what happens is a lot of veterans get exposed to these herbicides. It creates a lot of secondary conditions. I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but it's, high blood pressure, I'm sure it could be a secondary condition to being exposed to herbicides. Okay, so how this may affect Persian Gulf War veterans. So if you were previously denied disability compensation benefits, you may now be eligible and are encouraged to apply if you are a Persian Gulf War veteran and you have an undiagnosed illness or medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illness, or a Persian Gulf War veteran now includes service in Afghanistan, Israel, Egypt, Turkey, Syria, and Jordan, along with those who served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations, which includes Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the neutral zone between Iraq and Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, the Gulf of Aden, the Gulf of Oman, the Persian Gulf, Arabian Sea, the Red Sea, and the airspace above these locations. So if you're anywhere in the Middle East, it sounds like you're covered. All right, so how this may affect Gulf War era and post 9/11 veterans. You may be eligible for disability compensation benefits and are encouraged to apply if you are a covered veteran as noted below and you have one of the conditions which are now presumptively associated with exposure to burn pits and other toxins, even if there is no record of evidence of such disease during the period of service. So let's look at who the covered veterans are. A covered veteran means a veteran who performed active military, naval, air, or space service while assigned to a duty station in the below locations and timeframes. So if you were in or in the airspace above Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and UAE on or after August 1990. So that's a lot of veterans. If you served in Afghanistan, Djibouti, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, or Uzbekistan on or after September 11th, 2001. The following conditions are now presumptively associated with exposure to burn pits and other toxins for covered veterans. So brain cancer, gastrointestinal cancer of any type, and GI tract in the body is a huge connected organ system. So that's good that it's covers such a large and important part of the human body. Glioblastomas, head cancer of any type, kidney cancer, lymphoma cancer of any type, melanoma, neck cancer of any type, pancreatic cancer, reproductive cancer of any type, respiratory cancer of any type, asthma that was diagnosed after service. Also chronic bronchitis, COPD, that's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronic rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, constrictive bronchiolitis or obliterative bronchiolitis, emphysema, granulomatous disease, interstitial lung disease, pruritus, pulmonary fibrosis, or sarcoidosis. Okay, so how may this affect veterans that participated in a radiation risk activity? So if you were previously denied disability compensation benefits, you may now be eligible for and are encouraged to apply if you participated in one of the following radiation risk activities. If you participated in the cleanup in Watak Atoll during the period beginning January 1st, 1977 and ending in December 30th, 1980. So Looks like there's some type of nuclear spill. Or participated on site in a nuclear response effort following the collision of United States Air Force B-52 bomber and refueling plane that caused the release of 4 thermonuclear weapons in the vicinity of Palomar, Spain, during the period beginning January 7th, 1966 and ending March 31st, 1967. A few participated on site in a nuclear response effort following the onboard fire and crash of a United States Air Force B-52 bomber that caused the release of 4 thermonuclear weapons in the vicinity of the Thule Air Force Base in Greenland during the period January 31st, 1968 and ending September 25th, 1968. And so let's talk about what the VA needs from you. If you have not previously submitted a disability compensation for your exposure-related disability and would like to do so, please submit the VA Form 21526-EASY. It's the application for disability compensation and related compensation benefits. Or if you have previously submitted a claim for the disability compensation for your exposure-related disability but were not found eligible, then please submit the VA Form 20-0995. That's the decision review request, supplemental claim. Or if you wish, you may submit additional evidence such as medical records or a biopsy report with the application. Also, VA can assist you in gathering new and relevant evidence to support your claim. All right, for more information on herbicide exposure, please see the VA's page on herbicide exposure at VA or www.publichealth.va.gov/exposure/Agent Orange. For more information on the Gulf War exposures, please see the VA's page on Gulf War veterans illnesses at publichealth.va.gov/exposure/Gulf War. And for more information on radiation, please see the VA's page. Okay, please see the VA's page on ionizing radiation exposure at va.gov, disability eligibility, and there's a link right there. You may have your provider complete a disability benefits questionnaire. That's called a DBQ. Based on your current condition, there's a link. If you want to send in send in this correspondence, you may do it by mail or in person at a VA regional office or electronically. But the VA recommends you submit electronically, as this is the latest method of receipt. The VA provides several tools to assist in electronic submission. To learn more about how to submit documents and claims, go to their va.gov website. Visit the va.gov, check your claim status. If you prefer to mail your correspondence, you can send it to the Evidence Intake Center in Janesville, Wisconsin. All right, fraud prevention. Be very careful of companies claiming to work on behalf of the VA. You can contact the VA directly if you're unsure about the authenticity of a message you received. Also, a little warning says no individual organization may charge you a fee for filing an initial VA claim. Only VA accredited agents or attorneys may charge a fee to assist you with additional claims or appeals once the VA has made a decision on your claim. And also, if you have any questions about accreditation of a person or an organization, you can contact the Office of General Counsel Accreditation to confirm and validate who the accredited representatives are. There's a way to report fraud. Okay. If you have any questions or need assistance, contact the VA. There's also a specific website just for the PACT Act. Also, if you need, there's a forms library at va.gov/find-forms, and also answer your FAQs at va.gov resources. You can also ask a question at ask.va.gov. So there's phone numbers here, and there's even for people who are might be not able to speak. So there's a lot of resources here, a lot of methods to contact the VA. So I hope this brought some benefit to you if you were possibly exposed to toxins in some capacity. Good luck.